Jason Kelce does watch the show. He knows I'm a huge fan of his, who does a great job as a center for the Philadelphia Eagles, who are going to smash the Cowboys this weekend.
Yeah,
having said all
that's a fact.
having said all of that, I will say this. Jason Kelce's actually wrong. I can accuse Dallas Cowboy fans being the disgusting, nauseating, people that they are for being a lot of things. But fair weather is not one of them.
Right.
I can't say that about Cowboys fans.
Delusional.
They do stay there and support their team regardless of how undeserving
That's my point.
No,
they
that's
are.
not what he's saying, you guys. He's saying they're bandwagon. Like back in the day, people became Cowboys. Yes, he is.
I know. He's saying that, but he's wrong. First of all, they're not fair weather. They're delusional. That's one of the problems. Jerry Jones doesn't have to really worry about fielding a winner.
You're all
he can serve his own ego because the fans aren't going anywhere. But the real reason there are so many Cowboys fans, I alone have figured this out.
No.
It's not just because Landry became the head coach, Giants coordinator. I mean, really, the Giants should be the most popular team, but all the top all the top coordinators that the Giants had, Belichick, Lombardi, Landry, they let go. That was their mistake. Should be the Giants' history. But anyway.
No, bring up that.
Yep, that's right. 4 Super Bowls anyway. But the point is.
I know. Come on.
The point is.
I need to get involved in
the
this.
Dallas Cowboys are in the South and in the West. They were also the westernmost team in the country for decades.
This is weak.
Just like the St. Louis Cardinals in baseball. So they have that going for them. Then they play, for some reason, in the NFC East. So their biggest rivals come from highly dense population areas like the biggest in the world, New York City or Philadelphia. Therefore, and because they were very successful in the past, they were tied for second most successful franchise with a bunch of other teams. They have become this huge franchise with a delusional but not fair weather fan base. That's the problem.
Excuse me. I know I'm the moderator, not a debater, but can I please correct Max? Because you're much smarter than me and you're always right. But you're wrong. The reason everybody's Cowboys fans is they were on national TV. They were one of the teams that were televised. That's how they became. Everyone became fans of them.
People talk about that. You can talk about Tex Schramm. I'm giving you new original analysis, Molly.
All right,
it's something that goes back decades. Something that goes back decades doesn't need new original analysis. We know what happened here with the Dallas Cowboys. And I applaud you, Stephen A., and even part of your soliloquy, Max, not your geographic analysis, but you at least can recognize that Jason Kelce, good at football, bad at analysis. The Dallas Cowboy fans cannot be accused of being fair-weathered. You both recognize that. That's why I'm in Dallas. I'm not running to Houston. That's why I'm not running anywhere despite the loss, because it doesn't come and go. It doesn't recede like the tide. It stays permanent because this fan base, yes, while wide, is also deep. It goes across the country, but it doesn't come in and out with wins and losses. It's dedicated. In fact, that's why Stephen A. Smith says the things he says about every year, no matter what you come off a loss, we're going to win the Super Bowl next year, because that's the way it is, and that's the definition of a good fan. But more importantly, Jason Kelce says this. He doesn't like what the organization stands for. To me, that says more about Jason than it does the Dallas Cowboys, because what does the Dallas Cowboys franchise stand for? Well, it's America's team. It stands for self-made riches, self-made success in this great country, from owners to their own success on the football field. It is built from the ground up. It's not old money, rich, handed franchises, New York Giants, Pittsburgh Steelers. Partially, Jason is right. It's about winning. The Cowboys won in the 70s. The Cowboys won in the 90s. They have built fan bases across this country over time because America likes a winner. And I'm sorry, Eagles fans. You just got your first one. A couple decades into this project, you haven't been able to build up that national fan base like the Cowboys and to a lesser extent the Steelers. Because you know what? While these franchises have decades of winning, you have won. In the end, it sounds to me like nothing more, no deeper analysis than simple, petty jealousy.
Well, I would say this. Nobody has a reason to be jealous of the Dallas Cowboys for the last quarter century. Now, if you want to sit up there and go to, as Michael Irvin would say, all of history as opposed to recent history or my history, that's different. But if you're looking at recent history for the last quarter century, there's no reason to be jealous of the Dallas Cowboys unless you're all about the money and popularity and you're not about winning. The reality of the situation is you're going to have to accept the fact that you are a fan of a franchise that has come up significantly short for decades, and also they sit up there and they gloss over that stuff because of popularity and brilliant marketing. Now, if that's what you care about, Will, that's fine. But the fact is, over the last quarter century, you have no justification over the last quarter century for saying what you said.
You're changing the debate. Nobody here in this great city, nobody in this state, nobody in America's team fan base is pleased with what's happened over the last 20 years. Trust me, Stephen A. And Jason Kelce wants to kick us while we're down, he can do that because everybody recognizes right now that we are down. But what this man has said is something about the fan base and the franchise, and more importantly, what it stands for. And I just want you to understand, earlier this week, both of you, please listen to this. Earlier this week, I had on my show, The Will Cain Show, Dennis Miller, the comedian. And he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And he grew up rooting for the Steelers, like you, Stephen A., in the 70s. And I asked him, who'd you hate? Who'd you hate the most? He said, well, I didn't like the Cowboys, but you know what? I always respected them. Do you know why? Because my favorite player of all time led that team, Roger Staubach. I mean, American hero. Forget America's team, American hero. These are the reasons that this country has been attracted to this team over time. You're right, Stephen A. They need to be better. Jerry Jones, they need to be better. But this is what this organization stands for.
Even that is too deep analysis if you really want to get it, because most of team sports following has to do with just rooting for laundry, really. If you really want to get to it, if you call your team the Cowboys, especially at a time in our history where Cowboys and Indians were celebrated as a popular kind of culture theme, and you win a bunch of Super Bowls, you'll be really popular, particularly if you're located in Texas. So there you have. You want to get the simplest explanation. They're not the most successful franchise of all time. They have not been successful ultimately in 23 years, but they have the star on the helmet, and they have one of the better histories in the league, and they're geographically fortunately located, and they've been marketed well.